How did you separate yourself as a man? Education, income, and like I said, the social stratification started. There were some positions that paid more, some that were less. What am I showing you? That in the turn of the 20th century, you saw a boom in the 20s. You saw the aristocracy, the first real wealth. Wealth distribution really changed in America. Why is this important? Because enough people don't realize, do the history, understand the sociology of human beings. You think this stuff just happens. To where now you have 100% of women who used to understand what their role was going to be because their mother, their grandmother, and for generations back, that's what you did. And men knew what their profession was going to be. You got choice. And with choice comes responsibility. But you had to give up something for that freedom. Women ended up leaving the production, going into the housewife. That women had it. The women who could do that had it better. But then what did the women want? In the 20s, you had the suffrage movement, first wave feminism. Women wanted to be removed from the house. They wanted to go work. Now you were spared from the plow to be a housewife, but now you want to go back to the plow. No, you didn't want to go to the plow. You wanted to go to the office. Women didn't want to do the dirty jobs. They wanted to do the jobs that they romanticized men did. Fine. And that has been with us. What men do, women tend to want to do the better parts of it. Why is this important? Because men at the top have always had to marry down. Men up the top have always had to marry down. Women at the top don't want to marry down. They want to marry at the top. Well, if you're at the top of the socioeconomically, if you're in the top 10%, the only above you is 5, 3, and 1. Why is all this important? Because we have talked ad nauseum about high value men and women and what women want. But the notion that if you don't make enough money, if you don't make over 6 figures, you don't deserve submission. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? Where in the history of civilization have women who are average, below average, average, and above average ever been able to tell men that you don't deserve femininity? Submission is a trait of femininity. Just like leadership and protection is a trait of masculinity. But today you got women saying you don't get their feminine submission without paying for it. Fine, ladies, how much do you charge? Instagram, ladies, how much do you charge for your submission? If you are a 4, 5, or 6, that puts you roughly around the average. That is roughly 60% of women. 60% of women fall between the 4, 5, and 6 range and below. 50% of women are 5 and below. 40% of women are 6 and below. 60% of women are 4 and below. Most of you ladies watching this right now or the rebroadcast are average by what men judge. But I want you to understand how we got here. Women have been given the notion that because they can do what men do, they should be able to get what men get. Well, if you're up here socioeconomically, you automatically as a woman need to be expecting to marry down happily. But we're here for the average women. Because the 8s, 9s, and 10s, they don't charging for submission, that's different. Let's get to it. How much does your submission cost? How much do you charge for your submission, ladies? Next, ladies, how did you set your price? How did you set your submission price? Because see, it's funny to me that women can talk about if you don't make enough money, you can't call shots, okay? And when I hear men say this stuff, I start to get pissed off. Because what you're basically saying is the men who built this country, built this world, average men don't get what average men have always gotten. I got a real freaking problem with that. I got a real freaking problem with that. When your grandfather and great grandfather, who was born in the 1800s or early 1900s, they barely had a sixth grade education, and they got femininity and submission. And so did men. Today's men make more money than they've ever made, than men have ever made in mass, but women are saying they deserve less. Okay. How much do you charge for your submission? How did you set your price? How did you set your submission price, ladies? How did you set your price? How did you set your price? Did you set it on what you want to get, or did you set it on the market? How did you set your submission price? Oh, you don't know? See, when a woman asks you, hey, when you meet a woman and she asks you, hey, what do you do? What's your profession? You should say, I'm an account executive. How much do you charge for submission? That's the first thing that should come out of your mouth. How much do you charge for submission? Oh my God. They'd be like, what? Well, yeah, you're asking me how much money I make, and I'm asking you, how much do you charge for your submission? I need to know whether or not I can afford it. So how much do you charge for your submission? And I want to know, ladies, how did you set your price? How did you set your price? You don't know? Oh, you just came up with a number. You just say you want a high value man because you deserve it, because you are a woman and got a vagina. You all have that. How did you set your submission price? Here's the better question. How much is your submission worth? How much is your submission worth, ladies? You, right there, man. How much is your submission worth? How much is it worth? Well, look at the men you've been dating on the open market, and that pretty much tell you what your submission is worth. I think it's funny how we have so many average women. We have so many average women who've never dated a man on a certain level, all of a sudden demanding higher value men. Camera's frozen. Demanding higher value men. Okay, cool. Why? Why? How much is your submission worth, ladies? Hold on just a second. See, there's a difference between the cost of something and what it's worth. You may say your submission costs X, but what it's worth is what the market is willing to pay for it from a woman like you. And this is why women so sternly resist rankings. They want to rank men to determine whether or not they should submit to them, but they resist pricing their submission.